So this is how to build an audience from scratch, even if you have 0 followers. And if you know me, this is my biggest personal regret over the course of my 20s, was not starting my quote unquote personal brand sooner, if you can even call this channel that. If I documented my journey more and stopped caring more about what other people thought and all their opinions and all this other BS, I would be worth a lot more money right now. I could promise you that. I'd probably have more followers and whatnot, but that's just a huge mistake on my part. And that's the beautiful thing with content, is now is always a great time to start. There's a niche for literally anything. It doesn't matter what you talk about, what your interests are. Someone else is out there that wants to hear your opinion on it and wants to get your advice on certain things. So I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get right into this. This is as clear as a step-by-step guide as I can have it. And that starts with finding your value proposition, right? I want you to first get clear on what makes you different. Ask yourself 3 things: either what I'm genuinely good at or knowledgeable about, what do people consistently ask me help for, and 3, what problems exist that aren't being solved well enough. Where these 3 overlap, that's what I call the sweet spot. For me, it was being half decent at Call of Duty and talking about my experience with business, money, and life. That's it. What's yours, right? Seriously, comment below with what you actually want to make content on, and I can give you some of my own feedback. Or if you already have a channel, link it below, or just talk about it below, because I'm really, really wanting to hear on that. And that was my day one goal. I knew exactly what in business, we call it ICP, my ideal customer profile. I knew exactly what the viewer would want from me, what kind of viewer I was attracting, and it was a win-win all around. So I challenge you to think of that. If you just have this kind of boiling in your mind a little bit, it's going to become a lot easier for you. And before I get into that next point, this video actually came from a consult call I had where we really deep dived into his personal content strategy. He was in the sports niche and building an audience. So I just wanted to share some more points from that to a more formal video here. Again, I'm not a master by any means, but I'm a big fan of creating more niche audiences, if you will. So again, if you want more one-to-one help on scaling this kind of stuff, even advice on business or freelancing advice, very, very happy to chat with you over a 30-minute or 1-hour call slot. So link is below if you want to get that booked. Before we get into number 2, let's talk about the point, which is identifying your perfect fan. I'm a really, really big fan. This might even be a whole separate video, but I want you to search up 1,000 true fans. Before you create anything, know exactly who you're creating it for, okay? Your perfect fan isn't everyone under the sun. You will not meet a bigger believer in the quote, be known well, not well known. And all this means is like, you don't want to attract everyone, right? Who will kind of just watch your content lightly, will subscribe, and then maybe keep up with like a video or 2 years a month. It's like, no, why would you want that? I personally want a more small, niche-sized group of diehard fans, people that will watch your stuff no matter what you put out, because like they like you as a person, they trust you, they relate to you, etc. Whatever it is, that's all I want, plain and simple. And I'm extremely fortunate to have that, to be honest with you. The real ones watching, you know exactly who you are. When you like my videos without even watching, when you comment my videos without even watching, that's what I want you to replicate, because you can, and you know who you are. Thank you for those listening. I respect the hell out of you. And now you could still chase big fame, but what I'm actually focused on is attracting the right person in the short term. And ask yourself, and you're more for your potential viewers, what keeps them up at night? What have they already tried that didn't work? Where do they hang out online? What would make them say, this person gets me? Like, this person just understands me so well. My most successful videos have been that of topics that are already discussing points like this. And once I define my perfect fan as, I'll call it like an ambitious 20 to 35-year-old guy who knows they should be building wealth but feels overwhelmed by like the financial jargon out there and thinking it's complicated, my content became so much more focused and effective and easier to understand for the viewer. So just understand that. Now we go on to like, okay, now I'm ready to make a video. I've got my I've got my ideas in my head, what do I do now? And that's where it's like creating content that converts. I call it like the content conversion, if you will. This is where people get like really go wrong. When you have 0 followers, you cannot afford to just create generic basic content. Focus on solving one specific problem better than anyone else. My first personal breakthrough came, obviously, for those who have been following since then, of how living frugally built my net worth to 942K. That's the video that like quote unquote put me on the map. That's a whole other point. I may make a separate video on that. The rule of 1, where it's like you literally just need one swing. One viral video does help you out a ton. And that's what I've seen a lot of these more, COD focused style YouTubers, even fitness fitness coaches or other people. They just get one good video that puts them on the map, and that video does the rest of the work for them, as long as you keep up with the audience. So I could talk about that more. If you want to ask me questions on that, I'm happy to answer. But what that video did, the frugal one, it addressed my very specific story and a very specific pain point to a lot of people of being in their mid-20s, not knowing what to do financially, not knowing if they should be frugal or not. And I made it in a very step-by-step clear format. So you need to create content so freaking helpful that people would feel guilty not sharing it. Your goal isn't to get views. It's to make someone think after watching, being like, damn, my friend or family member needs to see this. To me, that's so fulfilling, is when I get comments like, my 17-year-old brother watched your videos and he referred them to me. I'm 14 years old and now I'm hooked, man. Like, that is what you should be chasing. Chase that. Okay, this is where we start getting down to the numbers, the 10, 100 to 1,000 method. All that is, again, like I said in the beginning of the video, find your 1,000 true fans. So break this all the way down. Break it like three steps further down. Start by finding just 10. 10 true followers. These aren't even just people that are subscribing. These are people who respond to your content, who reach out, who email you, who implement your advice. How do you find these 10, right? For me, it was super simple. Get 3 to 5 online communities. I don't care if it's a Facebook group, a school group, a Discord, a freaking Reddit community. For me, it was the old Call of Duty Reddit community, which you can literally search up. It's all public. I literally just brute forced my way to 100 to 200 subs that way. That's all it did. And then the second thing I did was create just genuinely helpful insights and just said, hey, these, like, I could see you're liking the old content, the old Call of Duty community, if you will, content, and I'm creating very similar content with gaming in the background, but talking about business, money, and life stuff. People were hooked immediately, messaging me back almost within minutes and be like, dude, this is really interesting. Like, this is a super unique approach. Just subscribed. Awesome for watching. And I, by hand, one by one, message these people. Highly recommend you do the same. Answer their questions with thoughtful, detailed responses, and then reach out to people privately who seem to align with your perfect fan profile, if you really want to. I didn't even do that, but you can take it a step further if you want. And then once you have 10 people who love your work and love your videos, do something special just for them. Ask what they need help with. Create something specifically for them. Turn them into advocates, right? Your first 10 fans will help you get your next 90, and those 100 or 90 will help you find the remaining 900, and it starts to compound from there. That's why I like the rule of 1,000. Get your first 1,000 true followers, and you'll honestly never have to worry about money again. That's, like I said, a whole other point. Another thing I did, build relationships, not just the following. Here's a secret. Reply to every single comment, every single message when you're starting out. I don't care. Every single one. I spent the first hour of every day just engaging with people. When someone commented on my content, I didn't just say thanks. I asked for follow-up questions. I provided a lot of additional insights, and I made them feel extremely heard, right? True fans aren't created through content alone. They're created through connection and a lot of listening, right? Another thing I did, this is kind of on this point, building relationships within the scene, guys. Find other creators who are doing exactly what you're doing, who are similar. Sometimes also a 1 or 2 steps further ahead of you is also awesome, right? Because you get to network with other people and get on their comments list and get on their subscribers list. This is what I did with Wylearn. Shout out you if you're listening, right? He was a huge advocate of mine. It was almost like crazy to be like, oh my God, I'm a fan of this guy. And now we're like close friends. I'd consider him a brother, right? Like, this will happen to you. You just need to put yourself on the map, network with others. So to end this off, like, very clearly, let's call it a 30, 60, 90-day plan. Okay, break down 3 months. I'm going to break down exactly what you should do. First month, 3 pieces of content weekly. I started with 3. You could probably get away with 2, but that's the absolute bare minimum, okay? 2 to 3 pieces of content, solving very specific problems. Spend 1 hour daily engaging with communities without self-promotion. Don't just hard promote, try to hard close people. That's going to be stupid. That's a waste of time. And then reach out to 5 potential perfect fans per day with like genuine connection. And that's the goal with that. Find your first 10 true fans. Okay, that's the first month. You only need 10 in the first month. Days 31 to 60, call it month 1 to 2, create exclusive content just for your first fans if you really want to. Ask them to share your public content if they found it valuable, right? Like, start to ask them, like, hey, if you found this valuable, would you mind sharing? Like, it would really help me out. And then begin, if you really want to, a simple like email newsletter to deepen relationships. If you're in the business space, this is really, really popular. I haven't even done this myself, but I probably should. And then the goal there is to expand to 50 true fans. Okay, and then month 2 to 3, start creating content based on the exact questions your followers and fans are asking. I get a lot of the same questions. How did you start in sales? How did you start with investing? How did you start in business? It's all the same stuff. So I made videos specifically tailored to that specific question, right? People loved it. And then I guess a point on this too, get a single community space, even if a group chat works. This is my next leg up, is creating a really tailored, hyper-specific community for these people that is going to make them feel heard on steroids. It's going to be even further than what they're feeling right now. And then this is when you can start really monetizing. If you want to do that, you don't need to monetize through YouTube. I know everyone's dream is to get monetized through AdSense. You can get monetized through day one if you really, really wanted to, right? From there, it's just about repeating what works and scaling to that 1,000 true fans, because 1,000 true fans paying you $100 a year, right? Total per fan, per follower, per subscriber, what do you want to call them? That's $100,000 a year. That's 6 figures per year. If you get 1,000 people to get just know you well and trust you well, you will never have to worry about money again. Okay, so again, just avoid the biggest pitfalls. This is where I see creators fail. They stop uploading. They try to appeal to everyone instead of giving their perfect fan. They give up way too damn early. They focus on quantity over just solving specific problems deeply, and they don't nurture any of their existing followers. They don't respond to comments. They don't engage. They don't say anything, right? That's ridiculous. What the hell do you think is going to happen, right? So be very careful on that. I'd say to wrap up, it's like it's not about fancy tactics or going viral. It's like knowing exactly who you're serving, solving their problems better than anyone else, building genuine connections, literally one person at a time, and just being consistently helpful over and over and over again. And you're going to build something special. So as always, as we go into a black screen here, if you've made it this far, I want to see you win. Thank you for listening. Seriously, we went a little bit over here, but please implement what I'm telling you, and you will be extremely well off. And I appreciate you. Thank you.